In the heart of Jerusalem it was the time of Passover, one of the most important festivals in Jerusalem. The air was filled with excitement and anticipation. Pilgrims from all over gathered to celebrate, and the temple was a hive of activity. The streets were crowded with people, and the temple was filled with visitors. Some came to pray, others to give offerings, and many just to experience the great city during the holy celebration. However, instead of being a place of worship, the temple had become a marketplace, filled with merchants selling animals for sacrifice and money changers exchanging coins. As Jesus and his disciples approached the temple, they could hear the noise from far away, the clinking of coins, the loud shouts of merchants, and the cries of animals being sold for sacrifice. When Jesus entered the temple courtyard, what he saw filled him with sadness and anger. Instead of people quietly praying or reflecting on God's love, the temple had turned into a marketplace. There were tables set up everywhere. Merchants were selling sheep, cattle, and doves for people to use in their sacrifices. Others were exchanging money at unfair rates, cheating the people who had traveled from distant lands. The holy temple, meant to be a place of prayer and connection with God, had been turned into a noisy and greedy marketplace. Jesus stood still for a moment, watching the scene unfold before him. It was a chaotic scene before him. Merchants shouted their prices, and the sounds of clanging coins filled the air. The sacred space was being treated as a marketplace rather than a house of prayer. His heart was heavy because the temple, his Father's house, was being misused. Filled with righteous anger, Jesus made a whip out of cords. With determination in his eyes, he drove out the animals. Then, with determined steps, he walked straight toward the tables of the money changers. In one swift motion, he began flipping over the tables, scattering the coins of the money changers. Coins scattered across the floor. "Get these out of here!" he exclaimed. "How dare you turn my Father's house into a den of robbers?" Still in the righteous anger, Jesus shouted, "Take these things away. Stop turning my Father's house into a marketplace." Jesus' actions shocked the merchants and the crowds. They tried to gather their money and animals, but Jesus wasn't finished. He drove the animals out of the temple, letting the sheep and cattle roam free. He released the doves from their cages, letting them fly into the sky. The noise of animals and merchants trying to collect their goods mixed with the sound of Jesus' strong voice. "It is written, my house will be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." People stopped in their tracks, watching this man who had just turned the temple upside down. The priests and religious leaders grew angry, seeing their business disrupted. But others were moved by Jesus' actions. They saw the love he had for his Father's house and understood that the temple was meant to be a place of holiness, not business. Jesus did not stop until he had reclaimed the temple as a holy place meant for worship, a sanctuary for prayer. He turned to the people and said, "It is written, my house will be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." The temple officials were furious at Jesus' actions. They feared his authority and the crowd's growing support for Jesus. Once the chaos settled, something wonderful happened. The blind, the sick, and the poor who had been afraid to enter the temple now came forward. Jesus welcomed them. He healed the blind and the lame right there in the temple, showing that God's house was not just for the wealthy or powerful, but for all people, especially those in need. Jesus showed all what the house of God's supposed to look like. What Jesus did brought out the true purpose of the temple, which was to bring healing and hope to those in need. Children began to sing praises, "Hosanna to the Son of David." The religious leaders were still furious. They didn't like what Jesus had done or the attention he was getting. But Jesus wasn't concerned about their anger. He was focused on returning the temple to its true purpose, a place where people could meet God, pray, and experience his love. That day, Jesus showed everyone that the temple was more than just a building. It was a symbol of our hearts, which should always be open to worshiping God, without distractions from greed or selfishness. Jesus' cleansing of the temple reminds us of the importance of keeping our hearts and lives as places of worship and prayer. Just as he sought to restore the temple's purpose, we are called to ensure our lives honor God and reflect his love to others. From that day on, Jesus continued teaching in the temple, sharing the good news and demonstrating God's love through his actions. The people were amazed at his teachings, and the temple was transformed once more into a place where they could encounter God. Wait, don't go yet. If you know you love God and you love this video, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comment section below and share this video to your friends and family. Don't watch alone guys, share it. Cause you know sharing is caring and caring is loving and of course loving is godly and most importantly please subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you in my next video, bye.